Welcome to your most favorite channel, Heartbeat. My name is Dr. Amrit Kejriwal. This channel is mainly meant for MBBS students, postgraduates, medical professionals, and all those who may find it a bit more easy. It is an attempt to make the complicated medical sciences more simplified and easier for understanding.
Today we'll learn something about hypovolemia. Channel's name is Heartbeat. My name is Dr. Amrit Kejriwal. By definition, it is a state of combined salt and water loss. It leads to extracellular fluid contraction. Loss may be renal or non-renal. Coming to the renal losses of water and salt. It can be seen due to osmotic diuresis, many as chemicals such as glucose, urea, mannitol. Diuretics and other medications can also cause renal losses. Hereditary defects, mineralocorticoid deficiency and resistance, mineralocorticoid receptor inhibition, and tubulointerstitial disease. These are all the causes for renal losses of salt and water. Free water loss may be also be seen in such as decreased circulating vasopressin or renal resistance to vasopressin. There can be extrarenal losses, fluid loss from the GIT, skin or lungs, or compartment, fluid collection in various tissues such as the interstitium, peritoneum or GIT. GIT causes can be due to increased secretion of fluid in the intestinal lumen, or it can be also due to reduced absorption. It can be accompanied with nausea and vomiting. There may be also associated metabolic acidosis and metabolic alkalosis. Insensible losses from skin and lungs are also causes of extrarenal loss of fluid. So it lives about 500 ml per day, and from the skin and lungs. Skin, there are various causes such as in febrile illness, prolonged heat exposure, increased exertion, increased ambient temperature. From the lungs, they can be due to hyperventilation or humidity of inspired air. Humidity of inspired air also affects the extrarenal loss of salt and water. Now, extrarenal loss can be due to some other causes such as excessive fluid accumulation, increase in vascular permeability and or reduction in oncotic pressure, distributive hypervolemia and hemorrhage. So, excessive fluid accumulation may be in the interstitial or peritoneal spaces. It may be increase in vascular permeability and or reduction in oncotic pressure can be seen in conditions such as sepsis, burns, pancreatitis, nutritional hypoalbuminemia and peritonitis. Distributive hypovolemia can be seen in biolumen as in intestinal obstruction, and hemorrhage can be outside the body or inside the body. All these cause extrarenal loss and are causes of hypovolemia. Approach to the patient. Take the history. From the history, it is usually clear which category the patient is fitting into. Symptoms are non-specific. Patient may have fatigue, weakness, thirst and postural dizziness. Coming to the signs, patient may have oliguria, cyanosis, abdominal and chest pain and confusion. Clinical evaluation. In moderate hypovolemia, the patient has decreased JVP, jugular venous pressure, may have orthostatic tachycardia, an increase of 15 to 20 beats per minute upon standing, or orthostatic hypotension greater than 10 to 20 millimeters mercury drop in blood pressure on standing. In severe hypovolemia, patient may have hypotension, tachycardia, peripheral vasoconstriction and peripheral hypoperfusion, may have peripheral cyanosis, cold extremities, oliguria and altered mental status. GIT causes can be due to increased secretion of fluid in the intestinal lumen, or it can be also due to reduced absorption. It can be accompanied with nausea and vomiting. There may be also associated metabolic acidosis and metabolic alkalosis. Hypovolemia due to non-renal causes, usually the urinary sodium concentration is less than 20 millimoles per millimoles, and urinary sodium osmolality is greater than 450 milliosmoles per kg. This is due to the fact that the kidneys, they are functioning normally and try to conserve sodium, so the sodium concentration becomes less than 20 millimoles, and they absorb the water, so the osmolality goes on increasing. However, in patients who are having hypochloremic alkalosis due to renal causes such as vomiting, diarrhea, and diuretics, urinary sodium concentration may be greater than 20 millimoles per millimoles, and urine pH of greater than 7. Urine chloride concentration less than 25 millimoles in non-renal causes is suggestive of hypovolemia with hypochloremic alkalosis. Coming to the renal causes investigations, urinary sodium is greater than 20 millimoles usually, as in conditions such as acute tubular necrosis or diabetes insipidus. Coming to the treatment, various principles. Principles replenish the lost fluid and control the further loss. Treatment of mild hypovolemia can be managed by oral rehydration and adequate diet. Severe dehydration, it requires intravenous fluid. In normal or natremic or hyponatremic patients, hypovolemia can be corrected by normal saline. In hypernatremic patients, the dehydration is corrected by 5% dextrose only if there is fluid loss, or water and sodium and chloride loss if both are there. Then we use hypotonic saline, which is usually 0.45% of normal saline. Bicarbonate loss and metabolic acidosis, they receive intravenous bicarbonate, either an isotonic solution or mild hypotonic bicarbonate solution in dextrose or dilute saline. In patients of hemorrhage or anemia, they should receive red cell transfusions without increasing the hematocrit beyond 35%.